At the center of the universe, at the border between the light and the dark, stands Castle Grayskull. For countless ages, the sorceress of Grayskull has kept this universe in harmony. But the armies of darkness do not rest, and the capture of Grayskull is evermost in their minds. For to those that control Grayskull will come the power. The power to be supreme, the power to be almighty, the power to be masters of the universe.
How the heck are you, everyone? I'm Lawrence and I welcome you to this modest channel. Today we are going to deep dive into a film released in 1987, Masters of the Universe. It's a film I haven't watched since an eternity, really. So it's like a first nostalgic watching experience I am going through today. I have only positive, fond memories of this film. I must have been 11 years old, 12, maybe 13 years old when I first watched this film on video cassette. I'm not even sure if back then this film came in the cinemas. I really can't tell. Anyways, after watching this film, it got me. And as you can imagine, growing up in the 80s, by watching all these kind of films, Star Wars, Superman, this film, E.T., and many more of the kind. Obviously, due to that, any child's mind gets inspired, creatively speaking, which was my case as well. And of course, watching these kind of films as a kid, you do watch them with the eyes of a child. Watching them today, you're watching them with the eyes of a grown-up. Aside the fact that today's films are so much different than those of the past, on so many levels. They got better, story-wise, and of course, in regards to the special effects and so on and so forth. Okay, enough talking. Let's get to the film. And here we go. I always loved this vintage logo. I'm very excited. It's been a very long time since I've watched this. Frank Langella, great actor. I get chills already. I don't know you. The main title sequence is, of course, a very compressed form taken from or inspired from the Superman main title sequence. Of course, this is going to tell us this movie is going to be very colorful, such as the 80s. The music is awesome. Bill Conti's music for this. He nailed it. He always nailed it. And compared to the film, I've listened to the music many times. Great production design in this film. I find the makeup for Skeletor to look like great till today. And there were so many variations and tests for his mask makeup. The visuals aren't that bad for my taste. Of course they are very much dated, but for that time they look great. He sounds like Stallone, kinda. It's such a pity that they didn't use the original costumes for this movie. That location has been used so many times. Come. Gwildor's home looks pretty cozy. Quite comfortable. Do you recognize the sound, the tone of the key? Dun 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 dun. This is the exact same melody used, you can hear in Ben-Hur, the film Ben-Hur with Charlton Heston. I pity we cannot see Snake Mountain. Okay. Too late. He sounds like C-3PO. Whoa! Again, I pity they didn't use the original costumes for the characters. The sorceress doesn't look like the sorceress we all know How could that happen? I mean, the sorcerer is a powerful being, so how was that possible that Skeletor was able to imprison her so easily? Here they come! He loved this. Frank Langella loved this role. And you can notice that. Skeletor. Why? What's between them? We never know. We never get to know. Nice looking effect for that time. The door, what's about it? Get in! Oh my. Oh, that's the sound effect from the animation, the animated series. Poor him. Why does she smell the mud? Something's missing. Tina. Ugly. Why ugly? Good journey. Courtney Cox. I had a little crush on her as a kid. Obviously, who didn't? With her very blue eyes, cute cheeks. Oh, what's his name again? Robert Duncan McNeil? Yeah, this is the very first time I saw him in this film, and then came along Star Trek Voyager. Yeah. Great actor, by the way. They actually choose great actor for this film. I mean, Dolph Lundgren wasn't that great. he's today. I think he's he's a much much better actor than he was these days. Those days in the 80s. He's hungry too. I can't see any teeth in Gwildor's mouth, can you? He kinda chews on it, but it looks like he doesn't have any teeth. The following is a good question. Are Eternians vegetarian? Vegetarians. Within a parsec eon. Parsec and eons are two different things, I believe. Of course, they had to come up with sci-fi words, combining them together and letting us think, letting the audience think, wow, parsec eon, that's a word. Blade. Surround. Wow. Nothing like the original. Unknown character. Blade and Sarad are my favorites, I have to say. Good. Whoa, it's windy. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's very windy outside and indoors. Anyway, I hope you don't. It's not that much. That much loud to you. He should have been dead by now. Oh. Hey. You could have killed her. Speaking of taking her alive. Are people in this town locked in their houses, in their homes? It's like the citizens are all gone. from some beasts. I understand it's night, obviously, and people are maybe asleep, but anyway, during the whole film, aside the cops, I believe, there are very few people to be seen. Odd. Oh. This is the second time Man-at-Arms and Teela have to help He-Man out. And He-Man is supposed to be the most powerful man in the universe. Oh, there they are, the people, the citizens. These headphones hurts. So why did he get here? What for? Captain Strickland. Keep the coffee hot. Teela is a terrible character in this film, I have to say, for my taste. The filmmakers wanted her to put contact lenses, but as you can see, her eyes are already perfect for the role as Evelyn. Excuses over excuses over excuses. No. Why, Surratt? Why him? There is no if or either with Skeletor. But he didn't. So this was his intention when he got there. Why do they leave Kevin with that color behind? I mean, it's Eternian technology, after all. Why leave it on Earth? Ah, I know the reason. It's the 80s. They didn't care for such details. Did they have to shoot the chair down? To shoot at the chair, correctly said. He's always hungry. Me neither. Doesn't he know the sound to open the door? Do you have to be a master of sound? This is I don't get it. Anyways, fun movie. It's as easy as that. Woman at arms. A very secret work. Were there agents? I don't think so. Hence, why does Julie believe all that so easily? I believe the emotions let her think that. What's that? Done. Mission accomplished. A gun, a gun, a gun. Oh man, I'm sweating. What's the matter? Am I in frame? I have to keep my eye on the screen sometimes. even a thank you. Did he lost his cape? Oh! Ooh. Do you get chills? Any chills? Because I do. Look at Blade, he's so happy to get the sword of power he cannot use. Oh, that's He-Man cape. That's He-Man's cape. How is it that difficult to keep those tones in mind for Gwildor especially? Are Eternians incapable to produce music? Yeah, the Ben-Hur theme music. That's it, the Ben-Hur music. A what? Tesseract? In a what? In a pre-ton? What's that? How melodramatic Skeletor is sometimes. sometimes, in these days, anyways, why does Skeletor want him alive? I don't understand it. And yet, he tries to kill him! That's contradictional. Oh! Everything is golden and shiny. Again. Touching it is. There are a few memories connected to this film. To cry for. Yeah, it's a very cheesy film, but a very, yeah, entertaining, fun film. So of course there is much to complain about this film, but to me it's a cult film, worthy to get a watch sometimes. In my case, again, it's been a while since I've watched this, so it was a joy getting through it again. So what about your thoughts? What about your take on this? Are you from my generation who has watched it as a kid and find it enjoyable to rewind it again? Everyone, how you say that? Sometimes? Or are you from the newer generation who never watched this before and sees this film as a total mess? I'm curious to know. Again, there are many memories related to this, to the film, to the music, to everything around this film. So, yeah, there are some memories or emotions to memories which went through my mind while watching this. Nice memories, nice emotional connections. Da 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 da. I can't help it. I hope they are going to make a reboot, a new version of it, because yeah, why not? Why not? No, you won't. In terms of its cumulative effort, Masters of the Universe is not a very good movie. Fortunately for the flick, quality and enjoyability don't always go hand in hand. Nevertheless, it's a fun and enjoyable film if you are willing to simply lay back and let the silliness wash over you without expecting all too much from it. After all, there was no definitive backstory, no real character development beyond the scant context provided on the back of the box of the action figures. The story is a very odd one, which is firmly planted in a pulpy mindset that, while fully engaging in the events at hand, and in some ways in its ability to juggle a tongue-in-cheek tone with heavyweight drama, this film is a very rough prototype for the modern Marvel movies, only shellacked with a sleek 80s gloss. This film, more than anything else, is worth watching for the bad guy, Skeletor, brought to life by Frank Langella, an actor who is way too talented to actually be in this film. In fact, he is the main protagonist of this film, not He-Man. The man who helps elevate the film above what it could have been is composer Bill Conti. In Masters of the Universe, he conjures an insistent yet engaging score that's perfect for the universe-hopping adventure, yet so perfectly of its time that you could probably call the exact year the movie was made without being experienced to anything but the score. It's indeed an accomplished fantasy score that required a lot of versatility. He needed to keep new fans engaged with new sounding music while appeasing older fans with a fantasy adventure score. He simply accomplishes both tasks remarkably well. So while it may not have the polish of modern day blockbusters, Masters of the Universe still largely holds up. The story might be silly, but you've still never seen anything like it. The world and atmosphere of this film are fully realized, and the performances are pulp gold on par with good Tarantino. Sure, it's not a brilliant film. It's nonetheless great fun and entertaining on a certain level, and at its best, and inspired cheese at its best. Sponsored by Trivia and Coffee. To you. So, okay, let's get to the trivia stuff, which I will be reading for you. I have selected a few, just a few, which I think are worthy to know. Why not? Okay. Frank Langella went on record in an interview stating that playing Skeletor was one of his favorite roles. I think this is all known for those of you who are interested in the Masters of the Universe. His young son was a huge fan and was running around the house shouting, "By the power of Grayskull," so he took the role for him. Eventually, he wrote some of his own lines like, "Tell me about the loneliness of good, He-Man. Is it equal to the loneliness of evil?" Great line. Many viewers of the film commented on actress Meg Foster's eerily eyes, eerily effective contact lenses, which gave her character, Evelyn, a sinister and unearthly air. Actually, she wore no contact lenses. Her eyes naturally have blue-gray irises and tiny pupils, giving her a striking appearance. She has often been cast in science fiction fantasy roles because of them, and jokes that she appeals to casting directors as she brings her own special effect with her for free. Indeed. She said that she based her character on Shakespeare's Lady Macbeth. Okay, that's interesting. In the film's beginning, she is a pantomime. Pantomime? Is that right? Is it the right pronunciation? Pantomime. Villainess. Pantomime or pantomime, I think it's the right pronunciation, pantomime villainess, but obviously deeply in love with Skeletor. Yeah, you can indeed feel that or notice that there is something coming from her part, but not from Skeletor's part. As the storyline progresses, she gradually comes to realize that he does not truly care for her. In the end, she abandons him to his fate. Her withdrawal of her forces leads to his eventual defeat. In Foster's opinion, the character progresses from evildoer to scorned woman to tragic heroine. I don't know if I can take that the way. I'm not sure if I can share her opinion, but yeah, that's her opinion about Evelyn being a tragic heroine. I don't think this particular element of her character to come through the screen. I don't know. Anyway, you can say yours about this. I would be very curious to know. Dolph Lundgren said in a French magazine that working on this film was a nightmare. Whoa, really? The shooting schedule was 5 months, including 2 months of night shooting. Okay. He said he was approached to do a sequel during shooting, and he turned down the offer. However, in an interview promoting The Expendables in 2010, he said he would return to appear in a new Masters of the Universe film sequel as either a cameo or He-Man. A script for a sequel to be titled Masters of the Universe 2 Cyborg was written. It followed He-Man, who returned to Earth to battle Skeletor, who had left Earth a post-apocalyptic wasteland. The film was to feature, Trapjaw and She-Ra, okay, and the director Albert Pyun was hired to direct. Because the film bombed at the box office, Masters of the Universe, Mattel and Canon decided to cancel production of the sequel. Pyun rewrote the script, which became Cyborg, featuring Jean-Claude Van Damme, I believe. Canon Films originally had plans to make a Spider-Man movie, indeed, but opted instead to take the money and split it in two for 2 other films. Okay. Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, and Masters of the Universe. Interesting. The plan was to take the profits from both movies and make a larger budget Spider-Man film. Okay, makes kinda sense. Both movies bombed at the box office anyway, and the Canon produced Spider-Man movie never materialized. Go figure. Mattel, the toy company that produced the original He-Man toys, ran a contest where the winner would get a role in a new He-Man movie. The production was under a great deal of pressure to finish in time and under budget, so director Gary Goddard had to squeeze the contest winner into shoot. The winner Richard Sponder is the character named Peak Boy, who hands Skeletor his staff when he returns from Earth. He was even listed in the ending credits. At the 2012 PowerCon panel on the film, Richard Sponder stated that the night after he filmed his cameo in the film, his face was burning and he was in agony, even from the removal of the mask, which was glued to his face and was ripped off. Can you imagine that? Whoa, filmmaking is a tough business. Mattel, which owned and produced Masters of the Universe, the Masters of the Universe toy line, mandated early in production that He-Man could not kill anyone on screen. That's why Skeletor's troop are robots. The idea that Skeletor's crack troopers are robots was borrowed from She-Ra, Princess of Power from 1985. In the cartoon, Hordak's Horde troopers are indeed robots. At the time of filming, Dolph Lundgren had limited acting experience. You can notice that. In fact, spoke with a thick Swedish accent and was not yet fluent in English. Well, he improved massively by now, don't you think? Director Gary Goddard had planned to have all of Lundgren's lines dubbed by another actor. However, Lundgren's contract stipulated that he would have at least 3 opportunities to redub his lines in post-production. With the film running behind schedule, Goddard decided to use Lundgren's natural voice instead. He doesn't sound bad, I must say. Beastman's prosthetic teeth were so large that performer Tony Carroll was unable to close his mouth when in costume. Yeah, I've noticed that. After a while, he would begin to drool, filling his chin piece with saliva and weighing this down. Okay, that's gross. Skeletor's line, "I'm not in the giving mood this day," comes from Shakespeare's Richard III. Oh, interesting. The reptilian henchman's rod's throat was made to expand and contract by having the performer Pawn's Mar blow into a tube that ran from his mouth to the throat of his costume. Okay. I have always found that this effect looks great, and I always wondered how they made this, because it looks very, very, very realistic. How the throat moves up and down like that. It looks very, very realistic. And now I know how they made it, so it's, to me at least, very interesting to know this fun fact. The contact lenses he wore were extremely painful and reduced his vision considerably. During the action sequences, because of the dim lighting, he could not see at all and had to perform all his stunts blind. Wow. When Blade engages He-Man in a sword fight, Blade says to He-Man, "I've been waiting a long time for this." In Blade's backstory, Blade lost his left eye in a fight with He-Man. Oh, now this makes sense. The line makes sense. Blade was written as a replacement for Trapjaw, by the way. Okay. Well, it would have been great to see Trapjaw, but I think the issue with the budget, not having enough budget, I believe that was the reason why we didn't get Trapjaw. The film's original concept design for Skeletor by Ralph McQuarrie, the designer for Star Wars, was far different from the character's look in the cartoon and in the film itself. McQuarrie's concept design for Skeletor depicted Skeletor wearing silver helmet, a silver skull mask with red eyes, and silver body armor. Sorry about this pronunciation failure. Armor. Yeah, I could see that. I've never seen the designs made by McQuarrie, but yeah, I can picture that. I have to see if I find his design online. The Skeletor mask found new life on the sets of Star Trek The Next Generation and Star Trek Deep Space Nine as the face of skull-faced alien that Lieutenant Worf often fights on the holodeck. Oh, okay. Frank Langella made a series of guest appearances on Deep Space Nine, true, while Robert Duncan McNeil guest starred on The Next Generation, in one episode, before getting a starring role on Star Trek Voyager. Many viewers reviewed the motion picture in comparison to the cartoon, when it really was an adaptation of the toys only, which initially depicted He-Man as a barbarian in the first mini comics, not Prince Adam or Orko. The movie is actually a loose adaptation of the cartoon. Ed Pressman was interested in the property before the cartoon was even aired, and purchased the movie rights of the Mattel characters, not Filmation's, who had no involvement whatsoever in the film. Also, it was logistically too complicated and expensive to include creatures such as Battlecat. A total of 3 working cosmic key probes were built for the film, each personally constructed by Richard Edlund. The props were extremely fragile and broke down easily, so a special team of prop technicians had to be on hand at all times to repair damage during filming. As of 2012, they are valued at $6,000 each. Whoa, interesting. According to Albert Pune, Dolph Lundgren was dropped from the abandoned sequel, Masters of the Universe, because he asked for too much money, which Cannon Films could not afford to pay him. At the 1987 Cannes Festival's press conference, however, producer Manham Golan announced that the lead actor, Dolph Lundgren, was set to reprise his role as He-Man, and that he had already signed on for 2 more movies. Okay, which version is the true one? But Lundgren refused to reprise his role when he was offered it while filming Red Scorpion from 1988, and went on record in a 1989 interview with Cosmics Scene magazine that he felt playing He-Man was his lowest point as an actor. His role was recast with surfer Laird Hamilton, but the sequel ultimately never happened. There seemed to be some controversy, arguments, opinions about that. So again, which version is the true one? We don't know. Frank Langella accepted the role of Skeletor because his son loved the Skeletor character, as mentioned before. He immediately agreed to play Skeletor after having read the movie script anyway. Frank Langella attended a private screening of the movie with his son, who fell asleep during the movie. Okay, yeah, I can't blame him. I didn't fall asleep when I saw the film as a kid, because I was that much fascinated anyway. When I watched the film, so no, I did find the film great. So yeah. But hey, to each its own. The original idea was to set the entire film on Eternia and be much more faithful to He-Man and the Masters of the Universe cartoon series. But since the first draft, the script was set on Earth to reduce the number of sets and strange characters they would need to create. Yeah, makes sense. The character Wildur was created to replace Orko from He-Man and the Masters of the Universe cartoon series. When the extra scene after the ending credits where Skeletor says, "I'll be back," was filmed, Frank Langella, wearing his skull mask, was placed into a tank filled with red water. When the director called action, he would surface, look back at the camera and give his line. In an alternate ending, which would disregard the extra scene after the credits and the abandoned sequel, Skeletor does not survive the fall into the bottomless pit beneath Castle Grayskull in his final showdown with He-Man. Okay, that's interesting too. Everything sounds interesting so far. Despite internet rumors, Sarah Douglas, who played Ursa in the first Superman film and especially Superman 2, was never approached to play the role of Evelyn. Indeed, I have never heard about that anyway, so did you heard this rumor? Ultimately, Meg Foster played the role, obviously. The same sound effect that was used for the entrance of the DeLorean time machine in Back to the Future is also used when Wilder comes crashing through the junkyard fence to help He-Man, Julie, Duncan, and Teela escape in the native transportation, a land boat scene. Yeah, I have noticed that too, that the sound is exactly the same. He-Man's pet tiger Cringer / Battle Cat does not appear in the film, obviously, because of the film's budget and that the character would have been animatronic and expensive to make. It's most likely Cringer / Battle Cat and other characters from the cartoon that didn't appear in the film may have been killed when Skeletor used the Cosmic Key to attack the city and capture Castle Grayskull. Hence, the characters from the cartoon such as King Rendor, Queen Marlena, and most of the Master's characters were all killed off. Screen by Skeletor. The 6-note Cosmic Key musical motif is part of the opening title fanfare by Bill Conti, and it has been borrowed from the musical theme of Ben-Hur. I don't know if you ever noticed that, because it has been smartly arranged by Bill Conti. So at the beginning, when I first watched Masters of the Universe as a kid, and parallelly I watched Ben-Hur, I don't know how old I was when I first watched Ben-Hur, but at a certain point I knew something. I knew I heard that motif from Masters of the Universe somewhere, and I knew I have heard the theme of Ben-Hur somewhere else. So that was a little bit of a mystery back then, and later on I discovered the original music, and that was coming from Ben-Hur. So there are a few plot holes mentioned. When Wildor asks Kevin and Julie if there's any point in time they wish to go, Kevin says to just send them both home. As Julie and Kevin go through the portal that Wildor opened, Julie quickly turns around and tells Wildor to send them back before she can say anything else. Kevin drags her into the portal. Julie then wakes up in her bed and finds she had been taken back to the day her parents died. There's no way Wildor should have been able to do it, since he knows nothing indeed of the death of Julie's parents or when they died. Yeah, it's true. Wildor didn't know at all about this fact. Also, Wildor mentions to Julie that the Cosmic Key can take her to the past or to the future, which he proves by actually sending Julie back in time before her parents are killed. It is also shown that Julie merges with her past self, and it's not a duplicate observer of the past. If the Cosmic Key is able to manipulate time in this fashion, then why didn't he use it when He-Man, Man-at-Arms, and Teela at the beginning to send them back in time to prevent Skeletor from stealing the Cosmic Key? That's a great question. Gwildor could have used the Cosmic Key to send them back in time to send them back in time before Gwildor invented the key and stopped himself from inventing it. This is a point. Much the same way Julie stopped her parents from getting on the plane. Yeah, this makes very much sense. But you know, I believe these are I don't think they when writing the film, when writing the script, they didn't care all too much, because back then sci-fi, science fiction, especially fantasy films, were just fantasy films, and I think they thought they could allow themselves to make these kind of logic mistakes. I believe this is the true reason. So yeah, nowadays, you know, compared to Marvel films, they got a logic within their reality and within our reality. So there is a overall logic behind what we see, behind the story, behind the characters, behind their motivations, behind the action, and so on and so forth. Back then, yeah, I think, yeah, the 80s. The films of the 80s were entirely something else. Are you of my generation of people who watched this as a kid and enjoyed it for what it was and is, without judging it too much because of the nostalgic and emotional connection to it? You just cannot judge it. Of course you can say yours and your opinion and say, yeah, well, they could have done this and that better. Nowadays they could, and even back then they could have, but the budget was a restraining point back then. So anyways, ending it here. Thank you all for taking the time to watching this along with me. Whatever you think, whatever you feel, you shall let me know that all below. If you like this video and its content, you just thumbs up. And if you got more of these films you want me to get through with you, you may send your suggestions this way. Feel free to subscribe if you are new to this channel. Stay tuned, guys. Go beyond, and you are going to see me once again next time.